Please take your seats. Please take your seats. We're 20, 30 seconds away from start. 20 to 30 seconds away from start. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could go ahead and get quiet, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could go ahead and get quiet, please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage today's Master of Ceremonies, Mike Adams.
What a great way to kick off the New Mexico High School Coaches Association with the 32nd annual Bobby Gibbs Award Show. Now today, a lot of coaches are going to get honored. There's going to be a lot of recognition that's deservedly so to a lot of people. And then at the end of this show, there's 4 brand new inductees into the 2019 Hall of Honor. What an exciting day today. It's going to be motivating, inspiring, and it's even going to bring back memories for people who have played, such as myself. So right now, I want to recognize the Hall of Honor Selection Committee and ambassadors. If I say your name, please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Jim Holzman, Coach. Eloy Brazil. Eloy, please stand. Coach Dave Howes. Coach. Eric Roanhouse, please stand. Louis Biza. Spencer Shilshot. Jeannie Sategna. Bobby Gibbs. Steve Palmiazano, Michael Mondragon, and of course our host today, Buster Mabry. Big round of applause for each of these individuals. If you're a past Hall of Honor inductee, please rise and be recognized right now. If you're a past, big round of applause. Some unbelievable coaches in here. And last but not least, if you're a past president, please rise and be recognized. Big round of applause for your time and commitment, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to get things underway. It's a Distinguished Service Award, and coming up to honor them, Matt Martinez and Alan Lockridge. Big round of applause.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the New Mexico High School Coach Association, Coach Lockridge and I are honored to present this award. The Paisano Award, Palamisano Award family has a long history of being involved in sports in New Mexico. His dad, Leon, was the first coach and athletic director at St. Pius High School, winning the school's first state championship in 1964 in baseball. He coached baseball and basketball while setting the foundation of the school's athletic activities. Steve and his sisters, Sandy and Leanne, played tennis in Albuquerque and in college. Steve played tennis at St. Pius, becoming the school's first 5-year letterman, playing the #1 spot starting in the 8th grade. Steve came to the New Mexico High School Coach Association in 2012 to produce a Hall of Honor induction films for the new inductees.
Steve provides a great service to New Mexico coaches. His videos provide an insight into the personal and professional view of our New Mexico coaches, with the words of the friends and his peers and the coaches of their achievements, things that often have never been seen by most people beyond the coaches, athletes, family, and now they're able to be seen at the clinics, and they're on, nowadays, social media. I'm very proud to present and thank you, Steve Palmisano. Good job.
You know, Steve, for those of you who grew up rooting for the Albuquerque Dukes, was there anybody in here who rooted for the Albuquerque Dukes? Well, if you have a hat from the Albuquerque Dukes, that's because of Steve as well. Very unbelievable accomplishments, but also the owner of the New Mexico Dukes Albuquerque Duke store. All right, the action continues here, and we're going to present some awards, and they're milestones. And for coaching, let me just give you an idea of what needs to take place. You need to win 80% of your games if you're walking across this stage right now. So for those of you who coach basketball, that's a lot of games, right? Baseball's a lot of games. Imagine winning 80% of those. And joining me on stage right now, David Velasquez will honor those individuals. David.
We're going to start with the milestone awards as they walk across. First person, milestone level 1, basketball at Cleveland, Sean Jimenez. In football, milestone level 1 from Eunice, Kent Stevens. Level 1 basketball from West Las Vegas, Clyde Sanchez. In basketball, milestone level 1 from Pecos, Ira Hards Jr. Level 1 from Santa Rosa in volleyball, Breezy Gutierrez. Level 1 basketball, Tanisha Bitsoy from Tahachi. Level 1 basketball from Hondo Valley, Adam Herrera.
Congratulations.
We're getting a little bigger here. 288 wins, level 2, basketball from Las Lunas, Marty Zeller. The Dean of the North from Taos, 405 points, track and field, Benny Mitchell. Level 2, 81 wins in football from Ruidoso, Keith Johnson. Level 2 from Mountaineer, 228 wins in volleyball, Richard Gage. Level 3. From Dexter, 111 wins, Athletic Director Dave Campbell. From Tularosa, girls track and field, 487 points, Patrick Ventura. Basketball, 319 wins from Santa Rosa, Frank Ortiz. Level 2, Level 3, Level 3. Girls cross country, boys cross country, and boys track and field. That's a load. Salomon Gonzalez, Cleveland. Oh, sorry, Rio Rancho. Correct it. I was gonna say Pecos. Basketball, 313 from Goddard, Anthony Mestas. Level 4, 334 wins in volleyball from Elida, Daryl Chenault. These guys get a ring, by the way. Level 4, Roy Sanchez, El Dorado. Another El Dorado Eagle, level 4. Mike Pick, boys tennis. From St. Michael's, Joey Fernandez, track and field. Boys and girls and football, another load. And last but not least, he retired from St. Pius High School, level 4. Phil Grego.
Another big round of applause for each of these milestone winners. Remember, 80% of their games, they must win. Next up, he's going to present the Ralph Boyer Coaching for Character Award. Tim Flotis, welcome to the stage, Coach.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon. I'm honored to present the Ralph Boyer Coaching for Character Award, which seeks to reward those coaches who accept teaching of character as a primary role in their professional lives. The concept of educating for character has always been one of the core themes of our American education system. This year's recipient is my good friend, Angel Castillo, head softball coach at Cleveland High School. Angel coached multiple sports at Silver High School and Mayfield High School and was the first head football coach at Atrisco Heritage High School before moving on to Cleveland, where he has been the head softball coach for the Storm since 2013. I had the privilege to work with him at Cleveland as we shared the weight room for fall preseason workouts. I witnessed the passion and integrity that he taught his teams. He coached them with respect and had high expectations. When I asked Angel who inspired him, he responded that it was his high school football coach, Henry Carrillo, who also gave him his first assistant coaching job. Coach Carrillo was a great mentor whose teams were built on being overachievers. He was always able to do more with what he had, and the only way to do that was by being a high character coach. He expected more from Angel as an athlete and then as a coach. When Angel got his first head coaching job, Coach Carrillo was the one that he leaned on and has stayed close to this day. Angel's teams and his coaching staff have always exhibited first-class sportsmanship. He and his staff have worked countless hours prepping and maintaining the Cleveland softball complex every year for the state softball tournament, even as his own team played in it. He is the first to arrive and the last to leave. One year, even assisting a newspaper reporter who had gotten his car stuck in the sand and needed help to get it out after all the games were over. Angel also stated that you don't have a long coaching career without the support of the woman who runs the house, and when you are gone for the many hours you put in. He would like to thank his wife Annette for helping him give back to a career that has shaped him. He also thanks his 4 children and all the athletes he has been able to coach in his career. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 Ralph Boyer Coaching for Character Award, Coach Angel Castillo.
Another big round of applause for Angel, ladies and gentlemen. Character is a big word. Character is a huge word. And each and every one of you as coaches display that. So Angel, congratulations. Right now, for those of you who tune into ProView Networks, you're going to be able to see all of today's activities. We have to go to commercial breaks. While we're on commercial breaks, Buster Mabry is going to give you a little bit more instruction. Let's go to these commercial breaks.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Outstanding. Now, if you are a state champion, by the way, congratulations, but please exit the room. If you're a coach of the year, please exit the room, go out front with Mary Lo.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back live here at the Crown Plaza in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And every year, Buster Mayberry brings in some unbelievable guest speakers. And Buster brought in one this afternoon that is very familiar with Albuquerque, New Mexico, as he graduated from Highland High School. Then he went on to get his degree from the University of New Mexico. He was an assistant director at the NMHSCA, and he currently holds the title of CEO of the NMHS Network. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Welcome home, Mark Koski.
Thanks so much for the opportunity, Buster. I appreciate it. But I'm a little concerned because I know you all have had some serious firepower over the last couple of years, and so I'll see what I can do. But most importantly, I'm just really excited to be back home. I had the opportunity to fly in today, and of course, always looking at the mountains and seeing what I missed now that I'm back in Indianapolis at the NFHS office nationally. But I really want to thank, Buster and the NMA staff, obviously, for this opportunity today, but most importantly, for the ability to come back and see a state that is thriving. So I have a chance to see 51 different states each and every year, and what I mean by that is the NFHS, we have 51 members, all 50 plus DC. And I constantly go back to my work here in New Mexico because of the top-notch coaches that we have, which is you all, and talk about the stories, the passion that's in this room, and so on. The only thing I'm disappointed is that it seemed like all the good coaches left, and so I wanted to hear them speak. Because all the state coaches of the year left. But there's some amazing people, and I'd love to have someone like Coach Holzman get up here, and because I want to learn from him as I have for years and years. Bobby Gibbs is someone that's dear to my heart, and I think all of us in this room, and I wish he had the chance to come here today. But for the 4 years that I worked for the NMA staff, had a chance to work with Bobby and Robert Zayas. You see, Robert's my best friend. He's in the New Mexico or the New York office now, and so we talk every day. I feel like he and I talk more than Melinda here, which is she's here in the front row. But he is a true friend of mine. But Bobby Gibbs, a lot of passion, and he's the one that really created all of this. But there's no one that works harder than Buster. And I tell you what, he's someone that I loved when I worked with him at the NMA, and he and I constantly talk to each other about things that we can do better. And he's someone that it's such a great that he's your leader for the Coaches Association, because he's someone nationally that a lot of people look up to itself. It was mentioned that I had the opportunity to attend Highland High School. Loved Highland. Lived in the Four Hills kind of area, but anything for those of Albuquerque, anything south of Central, that was Highland at the time. And so it was a phenomenal school to be a part of. But what I loved about it most was we had students like, or athletes like Bobby Newcomb, because I was able to sit on the sideline and just cheer for this guy. And so this picture of me on the right-hand side is me just, there was no need for 10 other guys on the football field because that dude was unbelievable. But had a chance to learn and grow with people like him. But most importantly, what was amazing about Highland was coaches. And the coaches in which got me to eventually, get my passion and show me my passion. So this picture here, obviously a picture of our team at the time. You'll see Coach Gary Sanchez. He was, about 28 years old at the time. But you also look at the picture in the background. That's Bobby to the right, and he's putting a little, he's got little ears behind Coach Sanchez. But then we had Coach Chavez. And Coach Chavez, even though he tried to look like Mike Ditka, that was a heck of a coach. And that was a guy who really elevated and talked to me about, just the basics of life. Because at Highland, you had, again, one extreme to the next. Just like many of you as coaches, you have kids that are very poor, kids that have money. One extreme to, and that's what's great about the education system. A lot of our schools, have students like Highland, so to speak. But Coach was putting up with nothing. And I have a great story I tell about Coach Chavez all the time. I think it was my senior year, and I was, football and track, kind of were my two big sports or whatever else. And Coach and I, one day I was, not being myself, and he said, "Koski, what are you doing out here on the field?" I said, "Coach, I'm just getting ready for track." So I looked at him like that. He said, "Oh, you going to get ready for track?" He said, "Well, go ahead and get that football helmet back on." and let's go ahead and start running laps and get ready for track. Well, 3 days later, as I'm still running, hell, I wasn't ready for track, I was ready for cross country. This guy, I mean, he set me in my place, and that's what you love about coaches, because they're going to make sure that, hey, you're going to be put to a standard in order to be a lifelong positive citizen, a lifelong person. Coach was one of those, and Coach Sanchez, Coach Chavez were those coaches that helped me get there, for sure. Coach Chavez and I just had some time, we spent some time together. He came for the Indianapolis 500, and we got to enjoy dinner together and spend some time. And so it meant a lot to me to be able to, hey, Coach, come to Indianapolis. I know you're a big sports car fan. Here's tickets. I want to just thank you for what you've done for my career. But ultimately, again, what I loved about the coaching staff at the time, and it was, Coach Alfredo Martinez, you might remember, of course, Ray Rodriguez, I played freshman basketball under him, and Coach Sanchez, well, again, they had a passion behind them that ultimately, me as a student said, I want to be like them. What do I need to do to be like them? What do I need to do to find my reason in life, my purpose, and of course, what they put and what you all do on a daily basis for the students in which you work with, they're all looking up to you. Who knows what their family life is, but I tell you what, no matter what, you have a coach that is in their place. Ultimately, after UNM, I had a chance to be a teacher coach at Manzano High School, varsity football track and field coach. Coach Aaron Ocampo and I coached for 4 years together, and another great person that helped me kind of throughout my career. But teaching is all of our life. Whether you be a teacher, coach, or administrator, it's all of our life, because we have young people that we're serving and giving. We're going to constantly serve and give, no matter what you do. And when you look at the teaching profession, I know you hear this each and every day, but you get into it, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and work 40 hours a week, and then we start coaching, because we're teaching 40 hours a week, and then we're going to coach, and we're going to constantly give to the students on a daily basis and the parents. It's not a real attractive profession, but I tell you what, it's attractive when you see coaches and people like yourself that are in a room that have such passion behind what we do. So ultimately, I developed, what's my reason why? My reason why, and all of us have a my reason why in life that was important. And we wanted to always, wanted to have a purpose, a reason for doing something. What is that reason for doing something? And as we work with our students and our players, obviously, and our adults, parents that we work with, we've got to teach them about passion a little bit. Your reason why. Why do we get into the profession itself? So after leaving Manzano, I had a chance to work for the New Mexico Activities Association. Dan Salsweedle and Gary Tripp, Sally Marcus, of course, is there now, and work with 165 schools. And that's, of course, all the schools in New Mexico and 83,000 participants. And I loved it, but in a sense, what I didn't like about it is that we were so far removed from the students that you get to work with on a daily basis. And so during state championship events, we had the chance, obviously, to work with them from the NMA level, but in a roundabout way, but we didn't have that one-on-one connection. So kind of lost that, but in a greater good, I keep telling myself, hey, your purpose and your passion is still there. It's just done in a slightly different way. But I go back and I see what you all are doing, and I tell you, and I'm envious of the work which you do. And the students that are even here in the crowd today, they're the ones obviously supporting you. But when you go back home, you're influencing those students, but ultimately you're influencing those kids. Just like they talked about Coach Sanchez and Coach Chavez. My kids that I have now, the things that they taught me, obviously I'm teaching them as well. So that was important. So I loved my work at the NMA, and then ultimately I work at the NFHS, which is the national governing body for high school sports and activities, connected to the NCAA. So we're working with 19,500 high schools nationally, which is great. Love it, but it's 12 million student participants. So every day I'm sitting behind a computer saying, do I really have purpose? But I do, because the things that we govern, maybe big rules or whatever else, they trickle down to the local level. But again, I'm still envious of what you do, because you have a chance on a daily basis, an hour-by-hour basis, to work with those students, and that's a great thing. So again, back to the purpose about, hey, why we're all in this profession. We all need to make sure on a daily basis we think about my reason why. What is your reason behind what you do itself? And you look at, for student athletes themselves, the average GPA is 2.98. So a 3.0 grade point average versus 2.17 for students that aren't involved in sports or activities. That's a big thing. The number of days missed, 6.3 days versus 11.9 for those who are not in sports. As you know, you got to be in class, you got to be in school in order to learn to grow. The importance of your role, as you see, the dropouts itself, it's 0.6% of student athletes drop out of sports versus 10% for those who are not. Talking about a purpose for what you're needed on a daily basis, that's important. And I show you this picture here because this is the class of 1995, all of us studs back then. I wasn't very good. But at Highland High School, we had, as freshmen, we had 1,200 freshmen. 470 graduated by the time we were seniors. But everyone in that picture graduated because of Coach Sanchez, Coach Rodriguez, Coach Chavez, coaches like that, and teacher coaches that were there in that school, keeping us together as a team and teaching us lifelong lessons that ultimately we all carry on today. And then the last one here, 78% of top CEOs participated in sports and activities. Of the past 20 presidents, 17 presidents participated in high school sports and activities. So ultimately, we have a tagline called "Take Part, Get Set for Life." And so everything that you're influencing, those 12 million student participants throughout this country are taking part, and they're hopefully getting set for life. Sure, we have these examples that obviously students haven't gone on and they haven't taken what you've taught them, and you can only take it so far. But I tell you what, on an average, you're doing an unbelievable job in the work that you do. And so, as we keep talking about my reason why, the passion, we have to take our jobs and make it the best job. It doesn't matter if you are in Fort Sumner, if you're here in the city, if you're in Great Las Cruces, whatever job you have, the kids that you're working with, make it the best that you can. And I know you all are doing that. The hardest thing about being the standard is that we are the standard. You as the coaches are the standards of your community. A lot of times, if you look at collegiate level, there's a reason why basketball coaches, football coaches are usually the highest paid in the state. Doesn't mean I necessarily agree with that. However, they're the standard for a community a lot of times. And you as coaches are the standard for your community. So thank you for the good work that you do, obviously. We have to back up our hype. We have a lot of students out there that, hey, they come in, and I have my youngest son is this way. Hey, he's all good. Dad, I don't have to work on dribbling skills. I'm an all-star. I'm good. 8 years old? Really? Let's take you in the back. Let me show you how good you are. Let me put you on the track. Let me show you how good you are. So, but everything's important. So everything we do as teacher coaches, obviously is important, from day one all the way. And you all know exactly this is, I'm not telling you anything. And you just being a part of this conference and coming and learning and sharing what you're doing among other coaches, among this room, and among this clinic is a big step of what we do. But I tell you, ultimately, I think the biggest reason why all of us are here, not only the students that we work with on a daily basis, it's your family. Your family. I think as coaches, we lose sight of that. We lose sight of our families. And I think it's important to take out those cell phones, and on your screen, you need to put your family on that. So that every time that you log into that handheld BlackBerry, whatever you want to call it, that phone, that you see your family. You see the person that means the most. And I tell you what, they keep me accountable. Melinda, who I'm with here today in the front, she keeps me accountable on an hour-by-hour basis, and she needs to, and that's important. But not only are you keeping your students accountable, but our family's keeping us accountable, and we need to make sure we remember that. So family is so critical to what we're doing each and every day. Just a couple more pictures here of family that obviously is so near and dear to me. But again, what's your true purpose? Always should walk away, remember that. I wake up every day thinking, what is my purpose? Even though I'm at the national office, 12 million, do I really have purpose? I do, but again, in a roundabout way. But you as educators in your community doing a phenomenal job with what you do. I love this quote. Never throughout history has the person who lived a life of ease left a name worth remembering. Remember that. You all are leaving your legacy each and every day. Do a great job with our students. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate it. If there's anything I can do for you nationally, I'd love to. I'd love coming back home. I appreciate all of your good work, and thank you very much.
Great job. Excellent. Good to see you. 12 million. That's a big number. He talked a lot about passion. I know a lot of you in this room display it each and every day in your own schools. We want the awards to continue. We're going to bring back up David Velasquez, and we're honoring coaches right now and athletic directors.
From Texaco, state champion, Kristen Scanlon. From Dexter, football champion, Archie Duran. From Eunice, and now he's at Hobbs, football, Ken Stevens. I got to work on this one. Soccer from El Dorado, Chokri Dowdy. Cross country. Cross country from Robertson, Patrick Garcia. Volleyball from Las Lunas, Tanya Sanchez. Football from Roswell. Got to get this one right. David Jeff Lynn. From Taos, football, Art Abreu Jr. From boys soccer, Albuquerque Academy, Laney Kolek. Boys soccer from Cleveland, Sean Gill. Girls soccer from Sandia, Jay Sheridan. From Navajo Pine, boys cross country, Kaylee Thompson. From Logan in volleyball, and in track, Robert Young. From Pecos, girls cross country, Patrick Ortiz. From Pecos, Ron Drake, girls basketball. Also from Pecos, I think this is his third one in a row, boys basketball, Ira Harge Jr. Look at that, boys and girls basketball. From Robertson, girls basketball. In case you didn't know his real name, it's Jose Magic Medina. He's also the coach of the year for the state of New Mexico, Jose Magic Medina, Robertson High School. From Atrisco Heritage, boys basketball and boys basketball coach of the year, Adrian Ortega, Robertson alumni. For girls basketball from West Mesa, Manny Otero. Girls basketball, Las Lunas, Marty Zeller. I got you, Christy. For co-ed cheer from Lovington, Christy Faith Areola. From Raton, 3A cheer, Linda Ortiz. From West Las Vegas, co-ed cheer, Isabel Cavazos. Well, we got him back from Australia just for his awards. 3A boys basketball from Hot Springs, Derek Bean. Boys basketball from Melrose, Kevin Lackey. Rainey? Minus, Cobra Wrestling. Cobra softball, Randy Dominguez. From up on the hill in Cloudcroft, girls track and field, Nolene Adams. Baseball from St. Pius, Matt McCoy. He told me to tell everybody this is his first time he's been up here. From La Cueva girls track, Jim Ciccarello.
Straight down.
For girls tennis from Albuquerque Academy, Amy Badger, and also the Coach of the Year for girls tennis in the state of New Mexico. You should see this guy move around the tennis court. From La Cueva, Richard Johnson, also the Tennis Coach of the Year in New Mexico, Richard Johnson. Another one from over by my area. Oh, I'm sorry. She moved to Albuquerque Academy. Girls track and field, and also the Girls Coach of the Year for the state of New Mexico, Cheryl Klemmer. Artesia softball, Sandra Pulido. I thought this guy retired. From Texaco, baseball, Ty Thatcher. Also in baseball, the Coach of the Year for the state of New Mexico, Ty Thatcher. Cleveland, girls golf, Scott, Georgia. From Robertson. Oh, are you sure this is right? It says baseball. He took over the baseball program. State champion, Leroy Gonzalez. Boys golf from Piedra Vista, Tom Yost. Also the boys coach of the year for the state, Tom Yost. State champion in girls golf from Los Alamos, Tim Hammock, and also the coach of the year in girls golf. Congratulations. Yeah, I thought we had him here a while ago. State champion boys track from St. Michael's, Joey Fernandez. From my alma mater, Santa Rosa, boys track, Andrew Sanchez. Also, the boys track of the year, coach Andrew Monk Sanchez. Girls track and field from Sandia Prep, Stacy Price and Janelle Johnson. Assistant coach of the year from Loving in girls track, Tyler Finch.
Great job.
Assistant coach of the year for volleyball from Moriarty High School, Jackie Bailey. Assistant coach of the year from Atrisco Heritage, they won the state championship, Daniel Leyva. Volleyball coach of the year from Sandia Prep, Audrey Gentry. Cleveland Soccer boys coach of the year, Sean Gill. Wrestling coach of the year, Evan Copeland, Cleveland High School. Football coach of the year from Roswell, David Jeff Lynn. Coach of the year in girls soccer from Sandia High School, Jay Sheridan. Coach of the year from Navajo Pine in boys cross country, Kaylee Thompson. The girls track coach of the year, Patrick Ortiz from Pecos. Coach of the year in cheer from West Las Vegas, Isabel Cavazos. Softball coach of the year from Artesia, Sandra Pulido. And this man of many hats, the athletic director of the year from Moriarty High School, Joe Bailey.
Another big round of applause for all these winners. Some unbelievable state championship games this year throughout every sport. And now it's time to induct our 4 Hall of Honor inductees. And coming up first, nominated by Kim Bell, I'd like to bring up Ken Carpenter to the stage. Ken, please come up, as Ken will induct our first inductee.
coached with Toby off and on for over 20 years. For those of you that know Toby, you know he couldn't possibly cut a bio down to 3 minutes. So this is my version. Toby credits his success to the numerous student athletes, assistant coaches, high school and athletic administrators, and parents that have served his volleyball programs over the years. He always says he couldn't do this alone. His family support system, which often travels hundreds of miles to watch his matches, consists of Carol, his wife of 26 years, 5 of which were good. Children, Tommy, 24, and Shay, 18, mother Alice, sister Debbie and her husband Mark, sister Melissa and her husband David, mother-in-law Barbara Wiley, and sister-in-law Anjanette and her husband Larry. He has head coached volleyball at Socorro from 87 to 89, where he was hired by Charlie Saavedra, St. Pius from 89 to 95, his alma mater, with a state runner-up in 93 and an undefeated season in 94. Moriarty from 95 to 97 with Gary Tripp as his athletic director. In 1997, Toby was hired by former athletic director Gary Bean. Toby just completed his 22nd year at Rio Rancho High School and acknowledges the work and leadership of current athletic director Vince Metzger. At Rio Rancho, he has won 6 state championships and been runner-up 4 times. In 1994 and 2004, he coached the North All-Star teams. He was New Mexico High School Coaches Athletic Association Coach of the Year in 2005 and 2017. In 2006, he was the Albuquerque Metro Volleyball Coaches Association Coach of the Year. In 2013, he was awarded AVCA's Victory Club Award for reaching 400 career victories. In 2014, he was inducted into the Rio Rancho High School Hall of Fame. 2019, Toby was a National Coach of the Year finalist for the National High School Athletic Coaches Association. Professionally, Coach Mons has been a member of the ABC for the past 22 years and served on the Under Armour All-American Selection Committee for the past 5 years. Toby has also served as president of the Albuquerque Metro Volleyball Coaches Association for the past 14 years. This spring will mark the 13th year of the New Mexico Spring Volleyball Coaches Clinic directed by Coach Mons. Toby has been a guest presenter at numerous coaching clinics and has attended the AVCA National Convention since 2001. He truly has become a student of the game and lifelong learner of the sport. The New Mexico High School Coaches Association wants us to be an ambassador for our sport, look beyond our school and our state. Toby has done this year after year. He loves to meet people, so if you see him in the hallway, stop him and ask him a question. You'll be glad you did. Video, please. I think that's the first time I've seen him speechless. Okay, I got nothing now.
Was early on, you know, I was multi-sport athlete as a parochial high kid, and at Our Lady of Assumption, I went to St. Pius, the 10th high school, and I wanted to stay involved in athletics, so I became a manager for both our football and our basketball programs, and I think that's probably the first inkling of wanting to get into the coaching profession.
That glow, you talk to Toby, you feel good. just being in the same room with him.
What I really appreciate about Toby is watching how he teaches his kids to lead, how he gives them so much opportunity to implement what he has taught them.
Sociological and psychological to go along with the tactical things. He is a team chemistry genius in a lot of ways, and most of the time he really has a good pulse on what his players are thinking.
Wherever he's gone, he's been successful just because he's a great student of the game, and I think he has a great demeanor courtside. The coaches in the state of New Mexico look up to him. He's been the person, so to speak, for a number of years.
I'm here because we've had a lot of kids believe in our vision. They're the ones that have played this game. I haven't played a single game, you know. I'm the chess master, if you will. I've kind of moved the pieces here and there and hope that we could checkmate somebody. That's my role as a head coach, and it's to facilitate our volleyball program and to assist our assistant coaches and our players, and also to make sure that they feel that they can accomplish great things.
His accomplishments have been recognized now not only statewide but nationally, and deservedly so. This is the type of person that makes me very proud of being a part of that scenario for 42 years. It was just, there are not many just like Toby, but they are out there. But the successful ones all have an ingredient that he portrays daily.
He shares openly what he knows, what he does, and inspires or challenges you to implement these things or try these things. See if this works for you. See if this makes your program any better. See if this makes you a better coach. And I think that's what I would say the majority of people appreciate about Toby's, because he has such a passion that he wants to pass on and wants other coaches to have that.
He's a humble man. Proud of it, yes, as he should be. But as far as his demeanor, it's the same the next morning after winning a state championship as it was the day it started. He's the real deal.
State championships withstanding, I think it's those wedding announcements, and it's those christening announcements, and it's those graduation announcements, that I get in the mail. Those are the banners, those are the extended banners, if you will, that drive me to be a better man and to be a better coach each and every year. Because players are going to come and they're going to go, but it's those kids that we have that connection with, and it's those kids that remember the life lessons that hopefully we've taught them, and the life lessons that they've been a part of that allows them to reflect back and remember the importance of that when they reach out and say, hey, hi, how's it going? Even a quick text message, brightens my day and makes my day, because, it just means that the purpose that I've spent doing this for the last 30 years plus has really resonated with some kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2019 Hall of Honor inductee, Toby Manzanares.
get another big round of applause right here for Coach Manzanares. We're ready for our next inductee. He was nominated by and he's going to be inducted by Mr. Curtis Williams, if you'll make your way to the stage. Curtis.
Nice bright lights. Okay. Today we are gathered to honor a man that I've known for many years, and I'm going to dispense. I'm not going to mention anything about his records, except maybe one time. Okay, the man that we're honoring is Spencer Sealshot. And before I go any further, I would like to recognize his wife. Would Sandy, would you please give us a wave? Sandy, you might say there's behind him, was always supportive of everything he did. And I thank you, Sandy, for sharing Spencer with me. First of all, I want to ask a question. Why are we honoring this man? And I'm going to tell you from a personal standpoint. During my tenure as a cross-country head coach at Gallup High School, I had many assistant coaches that came and went. And we had a very successful program there in Gallup. But to keep an assistant coach, it took more than just showing up for work. I wanted coaches, assistant coaches, that were going to buy into the program. Someone that was going to remain more than 1 year. Maybe I was too hard on those assistant coaches, but we had our expectations. The athletes had their expectations. And like I said, we had many of them come and go until 1990. Spencer always wanted to be a basketball coach. And through politics and so forth, those opportunities never came to him. But he started his elementary career. He did a great job at the elementary teaching level. He advanced to the middle school level, junior high. And he kept coaching that sport with the round ball. And he tried to get on as a head assistant at Gallup High School. And again, like I said, politics didn't go his way. And so I met with him and I said, Spencer, you need to come and join cross country and track. You don't have to worry about politics there. Everything is judged by a stopwatch or a measuring tape. And I said, the program's going well, as you know, and I'd like for you to be a part of it. After seeing his advancement through the elementary stages, through the junior high stages, I knew he was ready for moving on into the high school ranks. But what I really enjoyed about Spencer was the first clinic that we came to. We went down to one of the local restaurants. I believe it was around 9 o'clock that evening. And I believe we shut down the place around 2, didn't we, Spencer? And it was not serving of alcohol. It was serving of coffee and a lot of friendship being served. I don't know how many questions he asked that night, but he sat there and picked my brain and wrote everything down. And from that point on, I knew I had a keeper. When I say a keeper, he basically became like a brother to me. We had our arguments. He won his share. I won my share. But what I really envisioned him to be was a head coach. And sure enough, that did happen. In 1990, he was my assistant, and I believe in 1995, Spencer, you became the head track coach at Gallup High. Is that correct? But, you know, Spencer was one of these people that you give him a task, you give him an inch, and I guarantee you he's going to take it a mile. He's going to do the best he can in any position you give him, any task that you give him. He did not take a job of being an assistant coach. He did not take a job as being a head coach. He took it as a vocation. Okay, and we have one of the greatest vocations in the state of New Mexico and the United States of all. So if you're a coach, you need to keep breaking that arm and patting yourself on the back because you are part of the greatest vocation in the world. You touched many people's lives. Now, I've watched him, like I say, make it a vocation. And in 1955, he took over a troubled track program. And again, politics somehow got involved. But he took it over and turned it around. And he made the, I don't know how many of you out there in the audience, I can't even see because of the lights, has ever attended the Route 66 Classic, which is a 2-day track meet that was put together by Spencer Sealshot. I believe at one time we had over 24 teams, both boys and girls. And we had all the events. It was a state qualifying meet, but he went beyond just having a meet for the athletes and coaches. He had a meet for the community of Grants, which hosted the first day of competition, and then Gallup had the second day, the championships. And he made it very special for the community and for the athletes and the coaches. But what he did was a pioneer. It may be have done in other schools, I don't know. But I sure enjoyed the 2-day meet known as the Route 66 Classic. And I think I've talked to coaches in the past that attended that meet, and they still remember the organization that went behind it, the awards that went behind it, the professionalism of all the workers at that meet, and it was all due to Coach Sealshot. And then also watched his teams, especially the girls' teams, rise to the occasion of getting to the podiums at the state meet. I believe in 2 years in a row, Spencer, correct me, but I believe you said 3rd place and a 2nd place at the state meet. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I know they made it to the podium. And for a Gallup team to come from that small of an area to compete against some of the largest schools in the state, to place that high at the state meet was a great accomplishment. I told you I was going to tell you at least one of his records. But the other thing I really admired about Spencer, other than his work ethics, his honesty, and his loyalty, was his service to others. He served the New Mexico High School Coaches Association as a member of the board. He served also the New Mexico Track and Cross Country Coaches Association. He has been the head clinic manager, the head of the track and field clinic that's held in January for how many of the last 10 years, Spencer? 15. Time does fly. Seemed like just yesterday that you took that responsibility. But he has spent many years thinking about others, not himself. He has spent his time working behind the scenes that nobody ever sees, just to help out the 2 associations and to continue the coaching profession as his vocation. Lastly but not least, he was the best of friends, and he still is the best of friends. At At this time, let's turn our attention to the videos to honor Spencer Sealshot.
Unlike a lot of people, I never knew I was going to be a teacher, and I never knew I was going to be a coach. It just came that way, and I liked it and loved it. And I played more basketball in my career and football than track and field. So I thought, you know, basketball was what I was going to be as a coach.
I said, Spencer, you're never going to get hired as a basketball coach. You need to come and join us in track and field.
Part of the monikers of his program is that you have commitment, you have dedication, you have integrity, you have honor, and you work hard. Well, I worked hard, and through the years, he knew that I had all those other qualities, but he knew that if I was given a task, that task was going to be done to my best of ability.
He knew that it was very important to learn skills, I mean, especially on the field events, and getting technique right on relays, but he also, there was a lot of heart in his coaching.
I don't care what age group they were, the infectiousness that they brought at that point in time, because that's where they wanted to be, because they chose to be there. So I always liked that excitement and the ability to kind of let them know that there was somebody there that was going to help them understand what they were doing and why they were doing it, and what kind of an impact that would have later on in their life.
I don't think he was counting how many invitational track meets he won. I don't think he was ever counting that. I know that he wanted the athletes to perform at their best, say come to their last meet, whether it be a district meet or whether it be a state meet. He wanted them to perform their best. And I think he achieved that through the training and through expectations and goals.
I've been a part of 25 state championships at Gallup High School with cross country. I've done well in track and field and done, you know, many district champions, state record holders, All-Americans. I've done all of that. Those are good. And those are the kids' memories. Those belong to them. What belongs to me is the association that I've developed with coaching other coaches to be the best that they can be. So that sustains me.
You know, Spencer's impact to be in this Hall of Honor is very simple. He's very motivated, very dedicated to advance track and field, cross country for the Coaching Association in the state of New Mexico.
I can think of so many kids that have gone on a positive path because of influence that he has had on them, and so many programs and track meets and things to recognize the efforts of other track coaches that have been started and kept going by Spencer and his efforts.
When we would talk to our athletes at Gallup High School, I always came up with the saying that we need to be full service. And full service means that you pay attention to yourself, your family, your school, and your community, and you give back. People are coming and paying homage to you for the accolades and the success that you bring to yourself and your school, as well as the community. But there are times that you have to give back. And that's always made me think about what I could do in the long run to give back. And that's the associations that you have with coaches, with athletes, and that's what's going to sustain you.
I'd like to follow up here with a poem I think was appropriate. I didn't write it, but it's always been back in my mind ever since Spencer was announced that he would be an inductee. So here it goes. If your life were an open book, the pages would be tinged with gold. And we would read a story there to be remembered and retold. For we would read of how you gave to each and every man and every woman that you met. The fullness that your heart could give, the love that no one could forget. And you would take a special place within our minds and hearts, a place we often come to dream, and there with love, remember you. Spencer, come forward, my brother.
Another big round of applause for Coach. I've known Coach over 20 years. Coach, congratulations. Big honor. Next up, nominated by Dickie Roybal, and coming up to inductor, Justine Gibbs, please come up.
I am so incredibly honored and proud to introduce the next inductee into the Hall of Honors, my former coach and teacher, and my mom, Lisa McMath. Two of my favorite qualities of my mom is her tenacious competitive spirit and her unworldly desire to pursue and demand excellence. These characteristics propelled her to achieve success in coaching, in teaching, in life. She is constantly pushing herself to be better, to do better, and expects the same from those around her. While I am so proud of all the wins, all the trophies, the record-setting state championships, it is her ability to pull out greatness where others failed or didn't see worth in trying that I am most proud and still in awe. There are people today who have memories of playing a pivotal role in securing a state championship that another coach would have long given up on. High school graduates who know that without all those hours spent in my mom's classroom getting that extra help would never have graduated and been given a chance at success in life. When she looks at you, she sees all your potential, the talents you have, the achievements you can accomplish, the person you can become, and then she holds you accountable to be that, providing help, support, and encouragement along the way. The influence she has had is undeniable. For as long as I can remember, there has always been at least one high school graduate from Fort Sumner that wanted to grow up and be a high school math teacher and a coach. It always made me stop and think, wow, that person wants to grow up and be exactly like my mom. I must be so lucky. Because even though I don't have her hair color or her skin tone or look like her in any way at all, I am so blessed by all the ways that I am just like her. Mom, thank you for showing us that everything can be turned into a competition. Life is so much more fun that way. Thank you for teaching us the thrill of an excellent deal. Whether we need that item or not, we save so much money. Thank you for instilling us the desire to be better. It has made us harder workers, strengthened our relationships, and grown our faith. Thank you for your faith and for all the prayers you've spoken for us. Thank you for the example that you have set that we will spend the rest of our lives trying to achieve. In my completely unbiased opinion, no one has ever or will ever deserve this honor more than you. Roll the tape.
I felt like I probably didn't reach my potential. I think I settled. I think that I was probably overlooked just because I did the things that I was supposed to do. And I did good grades, but did I really dig down and give it everything I had? I don't think I did. And as a coach, is that when a student walks into your gym, into your classroom, you owe it to them to expect the very best that they can give you, whatever that might look like. It's that potential that you don't know that's there.
She sets the bar so high that sometimes I think her kids probably thought, can I reach that? Is that too much? I'm sure parents thought that's too hard. They can't reach it, but when they reach it, it's amazing.
You know, senior year, that's whenever you start realizing what good she's done for you. You know, we've definitely had ups and downs. I won't say that it was easy playing for her because she is a coach that pushed you to your limit. But senior year, whenever I was getting recruited to play college volleyball, you know, it was all because of her.
And she wouldn't be like, if you don't want to be part of it, get out of here. She'd be like, I don't know, she just somehow encouraged everybody to step up and get it done and do it right.
When we came to Fort Sumner, I was offered the head girls volleyball coach, and I didn't feel comfortable with that at all. I didn't feel like I had a great knowledge of it. I played volleyball, wasn't my passion. So that first year that I was a head coach, I called area coaches, I ordered tapes, I went to a lot of clinics throughout the years because I had to learn the game.
But I think that work ethic and that integrity and the things that make her the person she is, that's so much of what I think her success is. Because there's a lot of great people that know, great coaches that know the X's and O's and know how to know the sport well, but she has something special, something more that I think has given her all this success.
She is one person who pays very close attention to the small details in each and every one of us, you know, and she brought out things in each player that they didn't even think they had because she does pay attention to the small things.
She's an incredible person, and I mean it. She's so humble. And she literally had little bitty kids, and they'd be running around the gym, and she would still take time to take all these notes and watch videos and figure out, we need to, you know, time our feet 2 more inches this way, the left one and then the right one, or she gives her all in everything she does.
Without the students here, without my players, none of it's possible. Without the idea that I am a role model and they believe in what I'm telling them, and that I am truthful, that I live what I talk about, I think that's important. You just can't say and do all this groundwork and then not live that life that you expect your kids to follow. You know, and I tell them a lot in practice, I want you to struggle. I want you to have a hard time because that's when we're really gonna grow. We really learn who we are. When our back's against the wall, what kind of character do we really have?
I believe that nobody will ever forget her name and the woman that she is. I think Fort Sumner should be so proud to have a woman with such high standards, such integrity, and I think she's going to leave a legacy with all the young women that she's taught that, you know what, I could do this. Believe in yourself. Fight. Don't ever count yourself out of anything, and work hard every single day.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing a 2019 inductee into the New Mexico High School Coaches Association's Hall of Honor, Lisa McMath.
Another big round of applause for Coach McMath, ladies and gentlemen. Our next inductee was nominated by Jack Sisko, and inducting him into the Hall of Honor, Michaela Bradley. Michaela, come on up.
Hello, my name is Michaela Bradley, and today I have the honor of introducing my father, Michael Bradley. And yes, I am named after my dad, twice actually. My full name is Michaela Michelle, or Michael Bradley if you'd like to say that. My dad has been coaching football longer than I've been alive, but the sport is 100% in my blood. I was born in September 1st, 2000. And I was born during the Mayfield versus Carlsbad football game. My mom's labor was actually announced on the big speakers in front of everybody throughout the game. And that was probably the only football game my dad has ever missed. Coaching and teaching football is my dad's biggest passion, but my dad's second passion is to teach those boys to have good character and to be a good person. About 13 years ago, my dad joined a program called Character Matters, and somewhere along the way, he found little character books. And at that time, I was around 6 years old, and so my favorite time of the day was nighttime because that was the time I got to see my dad when he came home from football. And every night, he read me bedtime stories, and you'd think that maybe it's Dr. Seuss or Cinderella or anything else, but my bedtime stories were character books, and I learned to be a good person, or at least I'd like to think so. He has always been a very big role model in my life, but he's also a big role model to all the boys that step a foot on his field, and he is that for them for as long as they live. And for some kids that aren't as fortunate enough to have a male role model in their life, my dad becomes a father figure for a lot of them, and so I'm so lucky to have him as my dad. When my brother and I were little, we traveled to every away game with my mom and my grandma, and at every home game, we sat in the exact same spot in the bleachers every Friday night, and it was tradition and it was superstition. And as I got older, I started to pay attention to all the people around me, and I would hear these things that I just didn't like. And so 5 years ago, I moved down to the field with my dad, and I stood on the sidelines every game, every night, and I cheered the boys on as loud as I can because they're my family. The other coaches are my family, and I'm always around them, so I just get super protective over them. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, especially coaches, have seen the movie Remember the Titans, where that little coach's daughter's in the stand and she's just screaming her head off at the referee because he made a dumb call and he is blind. And that's probably me because I have my dad's back no matter what. Football has always been a big and important part of my life, and I don't know where I would be without it. And I'm sure my entire family could say the same thing. This has been a generational thing from my grandpa to my dad and his siblings, and now to my cousins who are learning and playing this game too. Football is our life, and it's not always easy because I don't ever get to see my dad as much as I'd like to, but it's taught me to take advantage of every moment that I have. My dad has taught me many things. He's taught me how to be a leader, to be responsible and accountable. He's taught me to be a good person, but most of all, to never give up. Now, let's change your attention to this video before I announce my father's inductee.
I started off at Mayfield. I played football my sophomore year, and I ended up getting hurt. And so they told me, no more football. That was tough. It still hurts me today, because all I wanted to do was play football. Since I was this high, I've been with my dad. I wanted to play football, couldn't do it. He was my mentor, my dad, my friend, my best friend, and God rest his soul. Always wanted to be a football coach, but I didn't really play a whole lot, so I didn't think I could ever coach football. It was good to find out later on in my career that, you know, Lou Holtz was a guy that never played the game. There's a lot of coaches out there that never played. That I mean, you can learn football.
Being in this football program is it was a very much a family environment, but it also had a very high standard, and we were held accountable, and we were held to grow as men, as a group, and to make something of yourself. You know, don't be a bystander, be a leader.
When my dad passed in 2007, literally on his deathbed, he said, if you want to learn how to coach right, you need to go coach at Mayfield. And so I went down there. You know, I had just lost my dad, is about 26 years old, and Michael took me in, gave me a place to live, got me started, got me on my feet. He brought me into the family, the football family and his blood family, and treated me like one of his own.
He just wanted to make sure he held the standard of the program to be successful to what was defined of it, which is, you know, number one, being in state championship football games, winning state championship football games, and then also developing kids. I mean, I think those things are the same things that you know, he took from his father.
That was his number one thing, is to motivate and educate and really get into the hearts and the soul of a person. He passed that on to me, and he passed that on to Gary and Jimmy. I'm sorry, but and my sister. We have a love for the game, but we have a love for these kids.
We're not just about winning. It's not just about winning games. It's about building young men of good character who are going to be successful in their lives once they leave us here.
I would just want to say thank you for the time and effort he put in to sculpt me as a football player, and not only that, as a man, and for him to give that time and effort during that part of my life. I just thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it, and I wouldn't trade the experiences that we've had together, good and bad, for anything, so thank you.
We work together, and we got to work with parents, and I think, again, his willingness to do those kind of things has been that kind of mentor leader to me to watch and see as we've worked together for so many years.
We had basically 3 rules in our program, and number 1 is to be a good person, and that's the character thing. And number 2 is to be a good student. And then the last one is to be a great football player. And the thing is, you can't be a great football player unless you're a good student. And you can't be a good student unless you have good character. And you have the attitude, you have the work ethic, and all those things go along with it. And so you could take that stuff to the bank with you every day of your life. And they get that hammered into them on a daily basis. Not on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis. And they may not like it, but they're living it. And when they leave Mayfield High School, they are a better football player, but they are a better student, and they are a better person.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to announce the 2019 Hall of Honor inductee, my dad, Michael Bradley.
Mabry. Big round of applause for Buster kicking it off this year like this. That concludes today's 32nd annual Bobby Gibbs Award Show. We appreciate you. Have a great conference. Good night.